Okay, so today I'm going to be building a knife for the diving table. Each one of my tables is going to come with a knife, but I wanted to build one that he could potentially take down with him when he goes diving. So I got this 440C stainless steel 3/16 by 1.5 inch bar stock for making knives. And I'm going to make, on the one side, I'm going to make it serrated, like with a saw blade on the one side, but I wanted the saw blade each so you could be able to cut fishing string or anything like that. So on each one of the little divots here, I'm gonna make a serrated, like a super sharp edge on the inside of each one of the teeth, so that if it were to catch rope or if it were to catch like fishing string or anything, you could cut it with that side as well as the flat side. And we'll see how it goes. I already put in a line of drill holes because I wanted to see if I could make them straight in a straight line. And I think I did pretty good, probably not perfect. I'm not really gonna consider myself a knife maker until I start making tons of them and get to the point where they're, but we'll see how this goes. Should be fun. I quite enjoy making knives. It's different than woodworking, so breaks up the monotony. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so before I even start drilling, I'll just confess right now, because I know some of you guys are gonna call it out and whatnot. I don't use oil when I use my drills on my drill bits, not because for any other reason than because I'm in a wood shop. If you get oil on your hands and you touch any of the wood, it'll soak into the wood. Sometimes you don't notice it until you go to stain, and then it just really can mess up a project. So honestly, I prefer to burn up drill bits than to screw up how the stain goes into the wood. Because it seems like once you get it on your hand and you touch the table or whatever you're working on 4 or 5 times, you don't notice where you've touched, and then you go to stain and it looks just blotchy and patchy. That's literally why I don't use oil on my drill press. So I get it, you're supposed to. I do burn up drill bits quite often. It's just, that's the price you gotta pay to not have oil in the shop. So before I get started, I just thought I would verify that yes, I know I'm supposed to, and yes, I'm not gonna. So I always have one drill hole that just gives me trouble. Every single time I drill metal, it doesn't matter what, it's always like one of them will not take a drill bit, and it's that one right there. You can see it's just, I tried to grind it out with the grinder. This was the test strip I did the other day, but these holes right here that go straight through are going to be, I'm gonna cut them off right here and then I'm gonna come down with a cutoff wheel and go boop, 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 that way, and then I'm gonna do it the other way so that every other tooth on the saw, you know, we'll see how it turns out. And then on, like I was saying, on the inside of these holes, I want it to have a sharp round edge so that even if like you're cutting rope, it'll still cut because the edge on, or the blade on the inside there, and it'll just have that weird wonky tooth right there. Drives me absolutely nuts. Makes me want to say all the naughty words. Anyways, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so the goal is to come along here and cut this right about there. And then to cut this right about there. With a little bit of a drop right there to take out that circle. So there'll be a blade here, here, and then just a edge here that's not sharp on this side. With the saw blade along here, I'm thinking it'll probably come in a little bit like that, and then we'll do the handle up there here in a second, but that's the goal. So I'm thinking on this blade, I'll take this edge in just a little bit here, around there. And then I might take that point and make it just a little bit more of a point, like that. And then right here, I'll leave a little bit of a, you know, a little nub coming out. So there's here, maybe mirrored over here, just a little bit of a nub. And then I thought it would be cool to have it go in just a little bit, so it gives a little bit for your thumb and your forefinger to get around. And then more almost like a symmetrical almost a bit of a woman's figure here. And then have on the end, and this isn't perfectly drawn out, but I'm gonna draw it out a little bit better before I cut it out maybe. The circle in the back for the finger to fit in, or a rope, or whatever you want. And then I'll do like a wood. Well, I probably won't do wood. I'll probably do like a resin or something like that. Grip here. And yeah, I think that'll work. It's not perfectly drawn, but get the idea. Mostly I'm having this so that when it goes into its plastic case, it has a stop. So, let's see how it turns out. Giving myself a little bit of a guide where the center is at, and then where the edge of those are. That's actually going to be the center. I decided that's not long enough for my hand. Yeah, maybe. Dang it, maybe that is long enough. Back to the original. I'm going to go back just a little bit. On some of these. I'll make that the center. I'll cut this off. I'll round it all off with the belt sander over there. Okay, so instead of making it too difficult, because that drill press is not doing it, I'm just gonna use a blowtorch. I'm sick of it. So anyways, or oxyacetylene torch, not blowtorch. Anyways. That is so weird. I have never seen metal that won't cut. I am not a fan. Stainless steel. Stainless steel sucks. It doesn't cut, doesn't drill, it smells terrible. Look at that. That should have cut a hole in an inch thick piece of, iron, but it didn't. I swear I know what I'm doing. Just kidding, I don't. So, at this point I'm super disappointed. You saw how bad that cutting torch worked on it. You can see it just wouldn't melt through. It was just sort of, I don't know. It was doing a lot of popping and fuzzing. I thought it would just cut through it, to be honest. I might never use stainless steel again. It's just such a monster. The fumes it puts off when you're cutting it are just almost green. I'm not loving it so far. I'm gonna try to finish it up. I'm gonna try to use a Dremel in here with just a metal bit and see if I can round that out so that a finger can fit in there. And then I've got to finish shaping it up a little bit. When I use the cutting wheel on it from the grinder, it smokes. It's just weird, Love using 1095 steel for knives. I was gonna make this, stainless steel because it's gonna be a diving knife, but in the future, honestly, I don't think I'll ever use this metal again. It's terrible. That piece I have left over, I'm just gonna throw it away. But yeah, pretty annoyed. See how it turns out. I'll start using the Dremel on it now. So annoying. I thought sure it would cut it really clean. And the drill press, all the drill bits I try to use on them, they just burn up real quick because it's super hard steel, but it's gungy steel. It doesn't come off in nice clean shavings. It comes off in almost like a weird powder. So annoying. Anyways, I'm annoyed. We'll see how it turns out. All right, so I've got my little cone bit. I don't know what you call it. It's what I use to put the bevel on the hole. And I'm not loving this knife at all. I think it'll turn out fine, but the steel itself is just driving me nuts. That hole's not as big as I would like it to be. You can get your finger in there sort of, but I think you'd get your finger stuck if you put it in too far. Hopefully they don't do that. Great, now I'm worried somebody's gonna do that. All right, well, I'll just keep going on that. Sort of see how that's coming. Rounds it out just a little bit, makes it perfectly symmetrical. Puts a little bit of a rounded edge on there. And now I'll shape the rest of the knife handle. Okay, watch how much this burns, the metal, when I cut it with this. Normal metal just cuts nice and clean and quick. My wheel's getting small. But this metal, sort of gross. Getting there so slow. Really wish it would go a little quicker. Okay, so what I did is I got the Dremel and I just went and rounded each one of these out so that you can sort of see there's a sharp edge on the bottom side of the circle, so that when I cut the teeth of the saw into the top, you know, then on the bottom edge, bottom loop of the tooth, it'll cut as well, so if anything gets caught in there. I wanted it so it could cut rope, a saw blade that could cut rope without getting caught up on it. Anyways, that's where we're at now. Now I'll go and cut the blade on it with the belt sander. See how it goes. Okay, so I've got my knife. It's coming along pretty good. I need to drill some holes right here for the rivets to hold the handle on. But I've got this board right here that I've cut at a 10-degree angle. And I'm going to actually screw the knife to it so that when I go on the sander, I can put a perfect edge on it that way, and then I'll actually turn it around, screw it back on, and go that way. I think that'll work. We'll see how it goes. So that's sort of what I'm doing right now, is I'm preparing to make it easier for myself. I think that'll work. Well, I'll do it more in the middle. Make sure that's parallel with that. It's not going to be perfect. So I've got it attached on there. That's going to make it so I can feed it into the belt sander just right. I'm going to put a little stingray probably on the pommel right here. So I just drew it right there to remind myself of it. But that'll make it so I can feed it into the belt sander just right, and it'll take it off. Now I've seen a lot of people put a line down the center of the bar so that you know where to stop the blade on that side and then turn it around. So I'm going to do that here in a second. I'm not going to film it, but I'll have a line going right down the center so I know where to stop. So. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of a polish on it, see if I can take some of the scratches out. It's getting there. Starting to turn it into a little sword. Okay, so next step, I've got this piece of wood. This is a root ball from a scrub oak. I'm in southern Utah and I was going down this dirt road that they had just scraped. And there's a bunch of scrub oak off to the side, and their root ball makes just the most amazing burl. So I got a bunch of them, and I'm gonna put that as the sides of this knife. And I know this is a diver's knife, so I'm gonna have to put it in the vacuum chamber, get some resin into it so it doesn't soak up water into the wood. Hopefully that works. I can always put a new side on if I need to, but you can sort of see how amazing that burl is gonna be when you get a little bit of moisture on it. Here, let me put some alcohol on it. Hold on. Okay, so here's some rubbing alcohol on it. Show you what it does. Sort of see how amazing it is. It's not polished up or anything yet, but once it gets polished up, it has a bunch of starbursts in it. It has a bunch of really cool things. So we'll get those cut out and put on it, polished up, and then in the vacuum chamber, and I'll get resin in there. You know, I'll dip the whole end of the knife into the resin vacuum chamber at multiple times so the resin really sucks into it, and then wipe it off, and it should be good, especially because it's root ball. Man, that camera doesn't do it justice. See what it looks like when it's all polished up and on the knife, though. I'll cut out some pieces here. So, next step. Okay, so what I've done, I've glued it to the one side. Now I can go and drill these holes, hold this up to it, drill that hole, put a peg in, drill that hole, so all the holes line up. Sometimes I forget, I'll glue these together and then I don't know where the holes are at. So this is sort of how I do it to fix that problem. The resin's not quite cured, but I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, I'll just drill these. Drill that really quick and then I'll glue that on with the pegs in it. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so we're gonna stain it Just this Rust-Oleum wood stain, dark walnut, dries in 1 hour, and should turn out pretty good. Here's the knife so far. I went and used sort of like a scrubber on the Dremel, because then it gives the wood just a little bit of texture. Goes down into the grain and whatnot. It's really polished, but it gives it a little bit of texture, and I like that. So put a little bit of stain on it, see how it turns out. It's getting there. A little bit of polished look on it. I'll take that and put it under the buffer and make it all polished, and then I gotta sharpen it, the knife itself, and we'll do a cut test, make sure it cuts stuff. There it is. It's not polished up yet, but you can sort of start to see the grain come out. Okay, let's go put an edge on it. I think that'll work. Okay, so here's the final product. I think I'm about 10 hours into it. It's made out of stainless steel, which costs about 40 bucks for the bar. It's got scrub oak root ball burl on it. It's got the serrated edge for cutting. It's got a nice point. And let's see if it actually cuts. That's the real question, right? Okay, got my piece of paper here. Haven't tried this yet, so I don't know. I don't know how good of a sharpener I am. I always make it look so easy online, and then when you actually go to sharpen your knife, you just feel like you're doing it wrong, so we'll see. And yes, I do got a pretty thick piece of paper, so it's a little bit more ridges, so it might be a little bit easier to cut. Yeah, it's not very sharp. It saws through it. We're gonna have to try to sharpen that again. Anyone knows a good video for sharpening or learning how to sharpen, let me know, because that didn't work very good. What about a block of wood? Alright, no, it does saw pretty good. If I could hold the bar or the block still, it would actually saw a little bit better. But not great. I need to sharpen it a little bit better. But like I said, I don't know how to. Okay, so the last sharpener didn't work. Probably because I didn't know what I was doing. So I got a different one. Seems a little easier to use. I found it on Amazon. I think it was like 20 or 30 bucks. We're gonna see if I can sharpen the knife with this. I'm a complete amateur. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll admit it openly. Hopefully we can get that knife sharp. Okay, I've got this all soaked up. It's super heavy now. And I'm gonna put it in this little holder here. With 1,000 grit up. This goes on the back of the knife to give it that 20-degree angle. I don't know how I'm gonna do the front edge here, but I'll figure that out. And it says to do, let's see, it said to do 3 times this way, turn around, do 3 times. Yeah, let's see if I can do it right this time. Three. Okay, let's try that again. That was a little embarrassing. There's the finished product. I put a blade on it. One thing I realized when I was looking close at it after I tried to sharpen it the first time is the blade itself, and I can see from the sheen, I don't know if you can see it, see a little bit from the sheen just from the light where the sharpener was touching, and I realized that the whole middle part of the blade wasn't even being sharpened because it's got a bit of a bow in it. And honestly, it has a little bit of a less of an edge than 20 degrees. So the sharpener wasn't getting to the top edge. And so I, on the 1,000 grit, I really went to town and took it down to where, till I could see that the light was actually, or that the sharpening stone was actually touching the top of the blade, just from the sheen of the light going on that edge. So round 2, let's see if it actually cuts some. Same piece of paper. Oh, that's a lot better. I mean, it's not as sharp as some of those guys get it online, but I mean, compared to what it was doing before, the ripping, it's a lot better. Yeah. Okay, that's it. That is officially the diving knife. And I'm gonna treat this back end with an epoxy under pressure or under a vacuum, and then what I'll do is I'll vacuum it, put it in epoxy, vacuum it till the bubbles come out, and then let off the pressure, and then vacuum it again and again and again, like 4 or 5 times until no bubbles come out, and then let it cure. Well, wipe off the extra epoxy, then let it cure, and it should be pretty close to waterproof. But that process is gonna take a couple days, so I won't bother filming it. So there we go. That is the knife, the diving knife.